Thanks for tuning in again, everybody. We're back with your favorite podcast, Luca's Tigers and Bronze. Oh my.
Welcome back to another episode of Luca's Tigers and Bronze. Oh my. How's the big man feeling? You look good.
Good man. Appreciate it. Got a little haircut action going on, trying to.
A new haircut gives you this extra boost of confidence, doesn't it? You feel extra good.
How would you know, Samson? When was the last time you cut your hair? Like 2012?
Dude, I used to rock short hair forever. I used to think I wasn't a long hair guy. I even labeled myself as such. I was short hair.
I hope that our producer cut some video for today. Not of me, not of my ugly mug, but of you. Because it looks like you just came in, you're hanging out with Bodie and Johnny Utah. I've made this joke several times. I mean, you basically look like you just went surfing for the last 3 weeks. And, one wave just washed you in offshore on the beach. You put your headphones in and you're ready to talk, ready to do a podcast. It's nice.
You want the truth?
You can't handle the truth.
You can't handle. The parents are coming to town
today, huh?
So Friday. So I'm just trying to soak all the life out of this place in these last few days. So, but it's gonna be good. We're gonna spend the holidays with the family. We're from Philly, so it's cold as what I hear is pretty cold right now.
It's cold.
So they're flying it. Yeah.
I like it because you're at your best for this podcast when you're with your family. Not because you're just feeling the love, but because there's an edge to you. I don't know what they do.
They keep me humble and competitive.
Competitive, that's it.
Yeah, my sister's 21. She's getting into the stubborn age. She's feeling herself. And my dad, we play tennis a lot, and he hates to lose. He's a true competitor. He's where I get it from. He's an immigrant. He came here with nothing. So our family dynamics are always good, man. But I got to give a shout out to Alex Smith, man. How gutsy. What a crazy game. Man. One of the beautiful things about sports is the storylines that you could have never imagined, right? Like in Hollywood, you write these things. Who would have pictured this, man? His leg absolutely destroyed. Rehab took 2.5 years. The starting quarterback Haskins gets benched. Second string quarterback goes down. He starts, looks good, and beats the undefeated Steelers.
Yep.
I mean,
well, we talked about him when he came back about being a movie or an ESPN documentary, something like that. It was just amazing just to have him back. You know what I mean? Just for him to get back out there, and be on the field. But wow, just an amazing thing. Anything else that's amazing to you?
What else is amazing to me? I mean, it's amazing that we're on the radar of 1:37 p.m. and that they would put us on their top podcast. That feels a little bit surreal, given we started 4 months ago. It's surreal that our audience is growing so quickly on Instagram. And we have, I think, what is the most passionate and rabid fans out there. That feels surreal. Feels surreal that I have a mentor in you.
Oh, that's so nice of you.
I learned a ton from you, man. Dude, you have no idea. You. Sometimes people, you have a big personality, but behind it, you have so much hobby knowledge. Like, dude, people don't realize you've been in this for 30 years, 30 plus years.
Way more than that. Yeah, definitely more than that.
Way more.
We're approaching 40 soon, man. I mean, I didn't start collecting by myself when I was 4, but I definitely was trading baseball cards with kids on my street, when I was 10, 100%. That's and I'm a lucky guy, right? Because I'm in New York, and although I'm a Yankee fan, 1986, when I turned 10 years old, the Mets were all the rage. And, talk about, like the golden age of cards coming about, right? 86, you started to get cards of McGuire the year before and the year after, Jose Canseco, Barry Bonds, Bobby Bonilla, Bo Jackson, the 87 Topps wood border that I talk about all the time, the first set that I put together as a kid. So, I mean, talk about that. That's a long time ago, 1987, right? So listen, I love it. You know what, though? The hobby never ceases to amaze me. To amaze me. And I want to preach today because...
Okay. Are you going to talk about randomizers?
No, the hell with randomizers. But we can talk about that. No, I want to preach a little bit of patience, a little bit of
Ooh.
humility, a little bit of brains, a little bit of hit the damn brakes, right? So I will tell you, I've made some mistakes in this hobby thinking that things were too expensive and selling them. That's true. And I'm going to tell you that there are things out there that I think are too expensive right now. But, you guys make your own decision, buy what you love and all that other fun stuff. But the price for some of the base Prism rookie cards, let alone the the parallels. Do you see what like a Justin Herbert base NFL Prism card is going for raw? I'm not talking about PSA 10.
Yep.
Do you
I
see
looked
what
at this as well. It was $100. It was probably topping 100.
150 $160 today? Dude, $100. Pretty soon,
Can you
Jalen
can you
Hurts base
collect
Prism.
contextualize that, guys?
Yeah.
To just give you a quick reference point. In about April, May, when I was buying Kyler Murray, his Prism was 40 to 50, maybe hitting 50.
Right.
Maybe
So,
hitting 50.
and this is exactly the point that I was trying to make. You gave a Tyler Hero play right in the midst of before he went really crazy. And I went out and bought 8 Tyler Hero base Prisms for $20 each. People are paying $150. Just to put it in more context, I know you want to buy the next hot thing, but there's a Jalen Hurts Prism base ending in the next 10 minutes. It'll end during this episode. We'll see what it actually is going to sell for. It's over $50.
That's wild.
For a raw base card, it's $55. It's got 7 minutes left on it. It's not a silver. It's just a base Jalen Hurts. I mean, come on, guys. Just
Let me play devil's advocate.
Yeah,
Kate,
please.
what if this is the new floor? What if this is the new standard
yes,
for
you could be right.
The way the hobby works, right?
You could be right.
Every time, what I mean is every time the Dow or the S&P, they top these, what we would think astronomical levels, 13,000, 20,000. Now we're talking about 30,000. There's people that are up in arms. What if $100 for, the shiny new rookie quarterback for a Prism is the new base?
Yep.
That's the new IPO price. I don't know. I'm asking.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, it's good for the hobby. And here's why. I complain that I'm not paying $1,000 for a box of Prism football. But if a Jalen Hurts base card is going to get you back $60 or $70 and a Herbert's going to get you $150 and you're going to get hopefully one of the two of those guys in a box plus whatever other numbered crap you're going to get, all of a sudden $1,000 base Prism, $1,000 hobby Prism box doesn't sound like the most ridiculous thing in the world when you're going to, add up all those things. So, I'm not preaching that I'm saying it's wrong. I'm not even preaching to you guys that it's something you shouldn't buy. What I am telling you is this is where I come in as the old man of the group and tell you about the rising tide that lifts all ships. Mm-hmm. If you're right, and this is a new floor, this is a new, hey, the rookie base quarterbacks are going to be $100, then everybody better be looking at the $500 PSA 10 Aaron Rodgers rookies. You know what I mean? Everybody better be taking another look like they've done already this year with Russell Wilson's cards. Everybody better be looking at the guys who are still playing at MVP level, whose rookie cards they're going to be less population than these Prism ones. And I expect those cards to rise if we are in that situation where there's a new floor that's in. Don't always, guys, you want to build up your portfolio. We talk about it all the time. Don't, you can go ahead and buy your Justin Herbert. You think he's going to be the next Dan Marino, the next Tom Brady, buy the card. Don't miss out. Buy it now because, fear of missing out is a huge thing. But remember, if you just spent $150 on a Justin Herbert base, balance that out. Go find another, if you're a quarterback guy, go find a Dan Marino or John Elway. Or if you just want to use the current guys that are still playing, grab a Drew Brees while he's hurt. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be a chrome or a refractor or whatever it is, just add one of those because I'm telling you, that's what will happen. People are going to look towards those. People are going to, holy shit, if Kyler Murray's cards are $10,000, if Justin Herbert's cards are this much money, I got to take a second look at some of the guys who've already done what I'm hoping Justin Herbert does. So my little old man rant of the day, because every once in a while I jump on eBay, I look at prices and I'm like, oh my God. When I opened some Prism packs this weekend, right? I opened some blaster boxes and they were terrible. A bloodbath, I like to call it. If you haven't looked at our page yet, it's a pretty funny little picture. But I went to the store. It was just, I got a haircut. My brother and his son, they live in the same town as me. They get there. He gets his haircut in a different place than me. And we said, we'll meet up afterwards at the local card store. And we'll buy the kids some Pokemon cards. But my brother and I, we come from a gambling house. a bad gambling house. So we see a box of Prizm.
I'm not sure there's any good gambling houses out there.
Yeah, well, an unsuccessful gambling house, which I guess is also the same thing. But we say, hey, let's just start buying some packs. And of course, 11 packs of the box, $90 in a pack. I bought 9 of them, I think, and he bought 2. He did better than me because even though I got a Joe Burrow orange out of 249 team color, which is a nice card to have, and it was centered, in his 2 packs, he got a Justin Herbert base. So obviously he did well there. And he got a Clyde Edwards-Helaire blue ice out of 99. Not bad for 2 packs, right? But I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, we just spent like $1,000 on these packs of cards. How are we going to get our money back? There's no way. And then I went home and looked on eBay and I'm like, holy shit, this is ridiculous. What these cards
What is your Burrow comp at?
You know what? I have no idea. He sent me a picture. It's like one selling for 1,700. I go, yeah, I can list mine for 12 grand too if you like. It doesn't matter what you listed at. I haven't seen one sell, and I really haven't looked because if we're being honest, I'm going to send that into PSA and I'm going to wait and get it back, and I'm going to stick it in a drawer somewhere for when Burrow comes back. It's not something I'm looking to sell.
That's an Ian collection item if you're really asking.
Yeah. Yep.
Or hopefully maybe the Green Pulsar Hulk will get it. Who knows? No, I think it's a good point. And as you were talking about that, I thought about one thing: is no one I know is buying Prizm football Justin Herbert for 100, 125. And we always talk about different types of buyers.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it is unsustainable because I'm thinking the buyer that's buying the Justin Herbert is one that was more than likely going to buy a box or buy a hanger. It's like, should I gamble or should I just buy the guy I like? He's like, I'm not going to buy the box. I'm just going to buy the guy I like, and not even think in the back of his mind, maybe I'm overpaying for this. Maybe I'm buying Justin Herbert, which is like more than likely a $50 Prizm for 100 because the market is. But it's hard to know if it's inflated. Cage, maybe this is the new floor. I personally don't think so, especially when it comes to football Prizm. To me, $100 is so much money to gamble on a raw card of an unproven quarterback with Anthony Lynn as this coach who just this year, just a second ago, they said his coaching position isn't in jeopardy when Deshaun Watson, his PSA 10 is available for $400. So to me, that's where I go with it. But I don't know. I guess we'll see. Time will tell. I love the rant. I like when you get ranty. I think you should do more of them. And you want to rant on the Jordan PSA 10 record sale? Back to back sales of 150, 162. I think it's on at Heritage right now.
By the way, I'll talk about Jordan in a second. I love the messages we get. I love the message we get from people. Somebody messaged me and actually said, I'm mad you mentioned Glaber. I'm a Yankee fan and I understand baseball. That is going to make a ton of money for people. I've been buying up his cards with both hands. I'm just buying 1,000 of his base PSA 10s. This is so funny, the comments that we get. So now somebody's mad that we mentioned the cards. Obviously, it's tongue in cheek.
You want to talk about a comment and you want to answer a question I got?
Sure. Yeah.
I wanted to bring it up to you.
Yeah, go for it.
The gist.
I just love it, guys. Keep the messages. Keep them coming up because I love it. I'll answer every single one of them. Keep going.
It's actually on the point of the Jordan PSA 10. In the last month, I see how many high-end cards, Brady, Mahomes contenders, Curry, Durant, really high-end Holy Grail cards have gone up. But their equivalent rookie mid-tier cards have hovered right around that same mark. So if the Holy Grail cards are, they're $50K, $20K and up, or $10K and up, the $800 to $2,000 cards, the equivalents, haven't budged. So like, for example, Mahomes high-end RPA has gone up, but his Optic and Prizm haven't. The LeBron Topps Chrome has gone up, but the Topps Pristine and other mid-tier products haven't. Why Brady contenders versus, his Upper Deck rookie? Why do you think that is?
Because people want what they want. And you can see it with Herbert. He's going to have a bunch of cards, but everybody wants that Prizm card. Underneath the Jalen Hurts card that's ending right now is a lot of 10 of his Phoenix. Beautiful card with the color burst and the whole 9 yards, the Phoenix set, the Fanatics one. And I think that you can get 10 of those for half the price of what this Prizm base is going to end for, right? Now, I'm not saying that those cards are not good buys, and I'm not saying you're not going to make money on those if he turns into a good player, but remember, at base, what we're doing here, we're in a supply and demand world. And what's different between sports and stocks, you got a stock of a guy. You got a stock of a company. Sports cards, there's not one stock. And I guess the best way you can try to explain it is there's preferred stock, there's class A, B, C, D, E, F, G of some of these guys, and stock A comes with the voting rights and all the other fun stuff, right? And for whatever reason, right now in basketball and football, the sports you just mentioned, Mahomes and Luca and you name it, that Prizm card, the base, the silver, the numbered, those guys, that is the preferred stock. That is the one that people are going after. So because that's the one that people are going after, that's the one that has the most demand. And with the most demand comes the biggest increase in prices. There's not as much demand. So I love the playoff product. We opened some ourselves, and I think it's a clean card. It's got some cool inserts in it. It was an approachable price tag, right? But remember, you get Herberts in those boxes, and the boxes cost, $200. Prizm boxes cost $1,000. So if that Herbert is, $25, you would think just the same kind of thing, right? So there are multiples in the world, and there are maybe 1 out of every 5 people who wants a Prizm will also buy a playoff or an absolute or one of the other ones. So I mean, it really just comes down to what the demand is for. And keep in mind, demand shifts, right? I mean, 2 years ago, you could have bought courtside, versions of Select for nothing. But now, for whatever reason, I guess people are realizing the scarcity of them, and people are noticing that these are, a commodity, and they are, in some instances, outpacing the Prizm Silvers.
Yes, they are. It's a great point. Demand does shift, but I would say 90% of big money doesn't want to risk second and third tier cards. If they're putting in 20K, they're going to get their card and their guy. That's just what big money does. Now, to keep it moving, Cage, I'm going to go right into my play. And we were talking about this right in our Instagram groups,
$89.99, by the way. $89.99.
What does that mean?
It looks like just ended for the Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, man. I mean, dude, Carson, did you see Carson Wentz's Prizm card, PSA 10? Went from 800 to 100?
That's what happens. I mean, it's really crazy. And you know what the funny thing is? As I look, there's like 9 of these ending in the next hour. I got one ending in 3 hours at $56. I got one ending in 20 minutes. I mean, there's just so many of these things. I know this is the week for it, so I guess my thing is, if you happen to own one of these, maybe sell it now.
I think Jalen Hurts is going to have a good couple games. I went to YouTube. I went to YouTube and searched Wentz's top plays and got no results back.
So it ended. This auction one just ended at $61. Oh man, it's just crazy. So many of these. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't want to derail you. It's just I'm shocked. I just, some of these prices just shock me sometimes. And I guess I shouldn't be shocked,
one auction on a quarterback of
it's not one of the greatest
football franchises in the league, who's now a starter. Now you're worried about it?
No, it's just it is more than just that one card. That just happens to be one guy. The Herbert's part of it too. Football's not basketball. I guess it's really just, look, guys, if Jalen Hurts can command that kind of stuff, when basketball Prizm comes out, I don't care that this is a bad draft class. What Gary Vee is saying on Twitter is right. There is just so much of an appetite for this stuff. It's absurd. People are going to go crazy buying these things. And, even if there's no top flight Zion or Luka in this particular draft, somebody's going to have a hot game. Somebody's going to get some minutes that they wouldn't get. Not to mention, with a season where there's still COVID implications, somebody's going to come out of nowhere that you didn't even expect and crack some starting lineup for a week. And all of a sudden, you're going to have, what is a $2 or $3 card turn into a $50 or $60 Jalen Hurts card. I mean, it really is something to look out for in the coming years. And I mean, the coming year here of basketball cards. And I apologize. Let's hear you play.
No, this is amazing. It's as Cage says, this is dovetailing perfectly into my play.
Nice.
So we talked about Prizm. People want what they want. Base Prizm is at a new floor. My play today is a strategy that I think could make people 20, 30x returns. I'm really excited about this. And it's a strategy. This is a good one because I haven't done this for you guys in a while. I used to do this in the early episodes. Then the market went crazy. We saw opportunity. I want to bring individual player plays. But this is so interesting how this came up. So the Wharf. And guys, we've talked about consignment. Welcome back, Wharf. We're so good to have you back. Worf is taking consignments again. And Cage just said this today in the chat. He's like, I'm not selling on eBay anymore by myself. I only go through a consigner. And as someone that's sold through the Wharf, it's the easiest. It's there's no headache. You get paid out really quickly. You don't have to worry about eBay and their policies and the return. So I highly recommend it. Wharf, welcome back. But he posted in the group, he's like, someone's sending me Brandon Clark Prizm PSA 9s. Does anyone want them before they get auctioned off? And I was like, ew, I hate PSA 9s. I hate PSA 9s of modern cards. They're freaking gross. And then I had this aha moment. I questioned myself. So I did a little research. And here's my strategy. For mid-tier guys, Tyler Hero, Michael Porter Jr., Shy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I would buy their PSA 9 Prizm card, crack, and cross the BGS.
Talk about it. Why? What's your thought?
The Prizm PSA 9 is at such a discount to the 10, whereas there's still so much meat on the bone. There's still so much value with the Prizm card that when it's in that holder, in the PSA 9 holder, it loses all its value. It actually, in many occasions, sells for less than the raw card of it, which is just absolutely shocking. But here you are investing in a player, you're investing in Prizm, and you're crossing to BGS. Now, I would look at serial numbers 46, starting the PSA 46 and up. PSA has been super, super harsh on Prizm, super harsh, and especially in the more recent grading. Now, I think you're going to be able to send them into PGS, and I think a lot of those PSA 9s, and I've done this myself, Cage. I got 4 out of 4 come back BGS 9.5s, and 2 came back Gem Mint 9.5s. I think you're going to get a lot of 9.5s. I think you're going to get a lot of Gem Mint 9.5s, and I think you're even going to find some subgrade 10 with 3 9.5s on those PSA 9s because of how hard PSA is grading. So there's 3 ways to make money. The player appreciates and has a good season, right? So you invest in Tyler Hero, you buy his PSA 9, and just he has a good season. So I think his PSA 10 will appreciate and pull everything up. That's one way. As you're doing that and you're buying into him for the next 3-6 months, it's at BGS. It's more than likely going to get a 9.5. It's just the way it's been. Cage, you could tell me you should expect it. I want to hear your take on it. Now you're already adding value with the grade as well. So I've done it myself. I wanted to bring it up because I think it's a really big moneymaker for the mid-tier guys in PSA 9. So I'll turn the mic over to you, Cage.
I like it. And depending on the card, right? I mean, some of these cards, I've cracked 9s and sent them back to PSA and gotten 10s. So, to potentially get a BGS 9.5, it's definitely a good strategy on these things. I'd be curious what type of card. I mean, the card you're talking about, you can just send the BGS and just do whatever their lowest grading thing is, or?
No, I'd cross it. I wouldn't cross it. I would crack it. I apologize.
Right, but you're going to send it to them at whatever their bulk. I don't know enough about BGS, you know what I mean? And I don't know how delayed they are right now and that kind of stuff. And you know what? Maybe you'll give me a homework assignment. I know BGS has they have regional salespeople. There's a Northeast guy. Maybe when we finish this episode, I'll call over there and I'll get for our listeners, kind of like a a timeline, and maybe we can also talk to them about BGS subs for Luca Nation.
Wow, this is Cage is inspired right now. These are ideas just flowing to him.
No, because it's a good idea, and it makes sense for our guys who are subbing with us. We're going to be getting back some 9s. Hopefully, everybody who subbed with us is getting a 10 on everything, but people will get 9s. I mean, I get a lot of 9s, more than I got last year, and I think that's probably a trend we're going to see with PSA. And we should have the information in the pipeline for our guys who sub for cracking their cards out for 9 and or trying to cross them over to BGS 9.5s. So it's definitely a smart thing for me to do. And, it's nice to give the audience sort of like additional information. Nobody wants to sit on the phone for 2.5 hours with customer service, so I'll do it and get some information for you guys. No worries,
We love you, brother.
Fine. I like the idea. I definitely do. I think it's a good idea. I don't know, man.
It's an arbitrage play. So why it's irrelevant to me in this play because it's simple. You could go run the numbers on whoever your guy is. Yep. This could probably work on Luca Prizms as well. I just think that those higher end guys have more scrutiny. Maybe it's just my theory, Because BGS and PSA aren't stupid. They know that whatever grade they give, they're assigning a value to the card. Like
Yep.
they're not dumb people. They know, okay, this is an $1,800 card. This is a $1,000 card. They know right away as they're grading it. So with the lower end guys, no one's paying as much attention, with Tyler Hero PSA 9s. Like no one's paying as much attention, in my opinion, to the second tier guys because smaller dollars. But at the end of the day, you could buy a ton of PSA 9s Tyler Hero, and I'd make sure that they're centered. I think that 2019 Prizm is the easiest Prizm to see. Is it going to be centered or not? This year's football is really tough, Cage. I would make sure it's centered. I would buy a bulk of them, 20, 30. I don't know what your budget could afford. You could split it up and do you could pick 5 different guys and invest in 5 different players. So you're not kind of stuck in one lane. If it's Michael Porter Jr., Shai, Tyler Hero, Brandon Clark, Rui, even Cam Reddish, whoever your guys are, you could buy their PSA 9s and let the season play out. It's like a 6-month investment. And at the meantime, just have them graded by BGS. And yeah, BGS is backed up, all that stuff, but probably no more than PSA. And I know I've had a feud with BGS. They haven't made me happy, but it's like your side chick. Like sometimes you just 2 weeks apart, and then you're like, okay, like let's hang out again. Let's see what's up. And I think that's a great way to see what's up.
I love it. Listen, I love it. I think it's a great idea, and we'll definitely have some more information for folks about it too. Let me ask you something before I get into my play, and then we'll be quick. You think it's worth taking a flyer on some Alex Smith cards? Maybe maybe not after the week where he knocks off the undefeated team, but you think maybe there's going to be a Disney movie about him one day? I mean, you think it's worth it? You think they're going to do a documentary about him? I'm sure they were filming the entire time during his 2-year comeback. Or you think it's just kind of stupid to waste your money in something like that?
Well, I'll answer your question with a story. So after the whole Colin Kaepernick and him kneeling and being very divisive and all that, there was a ton of campaigns, marketing campaigns, commercials, all that stuff for what he did, and a lot of people were for it. So some people started even buying his cards, his rookie card, or he had some cool cards. I think a Topps Chrome card, knowing he'll probably never even play again. But it's in an interesting kind of storyline, right? He might become this civil rights activist, and we'll look at him and we'll make a movie about him in 10, 15 years, right?
Yep.
I think there's a lot of truth to that.
Okay.
Cage is so cerebral. Cage, you're meta today. You don't get like this. We're very fortunate.
I put the suit on, man. I put the suit on, and I'm doing it. So I kind of gave a little bit of an insight into my play. I'm going to give you one specific card to to target, but you can expand on it, guys, because using my Andrewism, right? That it's we've I'll give you a play, but what's behind the play is the key here. And I didn't go off on Jalen Hurts. I think the kid's going to be a good quarterback. I watched him play in college. He's going to be good. Or Justin Herbert, who I think is going to be fantastic also. I am a strong believer in the rising tide. I've seen it with vintage cards, and we didn't really get into it, but we talked about the LeBron card that Card Porn brought up after we brought it up on our episode, right? We talked about how there was a weird.
And just so Card Porn knows, you and him have this cute little like flirting, poking each other on Facebook. I love Card Porn. Keep doing your thing, man, and keep messaging me. Your thing. I love interacting with him.
And you can message me all the time, and we can talk about it. And there's, by the way, if you haven't looked at the guy's page, check it out. Card Porn's page. It's 99% of the time about cool pulls that people send them, stuff that was pulled out of a box break. So you get to see some of the cool cards that are being pulled. But he also does, little expose pieces, about fake BGS slabs. It's good information. It's stuff that, it's the underbelly of the hobby that I don't love talking about because I think the hobby is great. I think it's like a newborn baby. It's perfect. And clearly it's not, but I can have my dream. So in any event,
can you have Leo at one point draw what you're describing as the underbelly so that we could have a visual representation of what that means?
Sure. It looks kind of like you right now with your underbelly out. So here's the deal, right? So why I bring up that card, not to, not for any fun reason, is, people saw that thing sell and they weren't smart enough to realize that it didn't actually sell for over $100,000. It was a fake comp. But even at the $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 for LeBron, refractors with the pops that they have, the current card market, the Zion selling for what they're selling for, Trae Young autographs selling for $45,000, $50,000, Luka cards selling for $250,000, right? I mean, these RPAs and whatnot. It makes sense that the granddaddy of them all, I'm going to call it, no, not George Mikan in his funny outfit or, any of these other ones. Michael Jordan's 86 Fleer card is like the iconic card of basketball. It's got a lot going for it. You don't have to answer the question of what's his real rookie card, even though it's not a quote rookie. What is his real card? It's not, a playoff prizm, you name it. There is one card to get of Jordan if you want the card, and that's it in PSA 10. And over the past week, including one that's going to end in a couple of days, there will be 3 new record prices for that card. And we've talked about that card plenty of times. It's a card that I passed on myself, upon re-entering the hobby in the 20s. Bought a Hank Aaron rookie card instead, like a bonehead. But watched it go
what
up.
was it going for? What was it going for in your 20s?
24,000. No, in the 20s. I mean, like as in the 20s thousands. So it was $24,000. So it was a $24,000 card, and there were plenty of them on eBay, and then they got bought up, and then there's no more supply, and there's demand, and the price goes up, and you saw it go to 40, 50, 60, then you saw it crazy in the Last Dance, and you saw it go up to like 100, 110, 115, there was 120. This week, one sold for 150. Then immediately backing that, one sold for 151, and now there is one that still has time left in the auction. It's over $160,000, which to me is a perfect example of what I'm trying to tell you guys. Now, Michael Jordan is iconic, right? But if people see folks paying 5-6 figures for young, unproven stars, they see a blowout advertisement that you'll pay a $500,000 bounty for the Zion 101 logo man, right? Then all of a sudden, there's clearly money out there and enough people out there who want to grab that kind of card. Now, that's an iconic card, and I'm not talking about going out and spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, but I do that in my research, and I now say, all right, well, if the base prizm of Justin Herbert is $150, and what's the PSA 10 going to be when it comes out? $1,000 card? So you can go on right now, and we're talking about all best offer. So you can get them, the most recent ones sold for less than $500. You can go get a 2005 Aaron Rodgers Topps PSA 10 rookie card. Not his base. His base will run you in the 30s, 40s. You can buy 2 Aaron Rodgers raw base rookie card, Topps 2005 card number 431, for the price of 1 Jalen Hurts raw prizm. Again, not picking on Jalen Hurts. I hope he turns into something great for all you guys who are buying his cards and owning his cards. But if you're really betting on Jalen Hurts, isn't the best you could hope for what Aaron Rodgers has done in his career? I mean, wouldn't you sign up for that right now? Yeah. Well, you pay a double for a base Jalen Hurts prizm than what you'd pay for Aaron Rodgers. And there's a reason for that. Right now, people are always looking for the new shiny toy. They're looking to be able to say, I stacked up Jalen Hurts, and look how I was smart, I was right, and I bought him for 60, and look, now they're 150. They don't look at Aaron Rodgers. But you know what? They're going to. I'm looking at him. All right, look at a card like that and say, holy shit, you can buy his rookie card for half the price of Jalen Hurts. I mean, it's just, guys, it's just one of those economics things. And it's not just him, right? Go look at the Russell Wilson cards from Chrome in 2012, and he's still playing. And if you want to go to people who aren't playing anymore, there's a ton of them, right? A ton of rookie cards of these quarterbacks that are out there. And you can get them. You can get raw ones. You can get graded ones. This is just one that I focused on. I own one of them. It's not one that I've stacked a million of. I'm pretty sure. Who did we have on? Was it the Wharf or Bro Namath? Somebody mentioned it to us. I apologize. One of you guys.
It was the Wharf.
It was the Wharf. The Wharf mentioned to us, coming into the season that he's going to have a great year, blah, blah, blah. And you know what? Mahomes might win the MVP, but this guy's definitely going to get some votes. He's having a heck of a year. But it's less about Rodgers and more about I want you guys to start looking at when you see the. Go ahead.
Would you look at Devontae Adams?
For the same reason?
Not for the same reason.
I mean, Devontae Adams is not a Pro Bowl, not a quarterback who's going to go down as one of the all-time greats. I like Devontae Adams, and there are a few position players that I would look at. He's definitely one of them. He's a very good player, and I don't think his cards really sell for that much money. Position players in football are tough. I think that'll change. I think we've talked about this with the advent of fantasy, you're going to see more running backs, maybe some tight ends. If Cole Kmet ever becomes big, I just seem to get one of his cards from the Chicago Bears in every pack I open. But yeah, I mean, guys, listen.
But if you really think about it, you mentioned Justin Herbert's $100. Take a look at Aaron Rodgers. Justin Jefferson, I don't know what his market's at, But if you're looking at Justin Jefferson, take a look at Devontae Adams as well then.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And I like Justin Jefferson. I like Devontae Adams, but you're right.
Say that again.
You're right. It's always the shiny toy, right? So there are receivers in the league like Michael Thomas, who people were investing in the beginning of the year, and he hasn't had the season people thought about. But people were doing this, right? People were looking at those top guys, right? And maybe DeAndre Hopkins is not having the year that people thought he was going to have either. I mean, these are guys who are going to, be top wide receivers, right? But yeah, that's my play. Obviously it's the 2005 Aaron Rodgers top number 431 card, but it's less about the card itself and more about the thought process behind it. And you can go into other sports with this if you want. You can stay in basketball if you want. There are guys out there who are finishing up their careers who, Jaren Jackson Jr. can only pray they have a career like, and yet Jaren Jackson Jr. or LaMelo Ball cards are going to sell for twice or three times what you can go out there and get a rookie card of these guys for. I mean, we've talked about him. Chris Paul rookie was one that I gave. I mean, there's just so many guys out there like that.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah, please.
Trae Young cards are going for the exact same price Zion cards are going for.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain that to me? Can you explain that to the audience? It's a question I think that is interesting to ask.
Sure. So that will change. And
I'm talking about the Prizm PSA 10. They're right at 650, 675.
That'll change because at some point this year, New Orleans is going to run out of beignets, and I think Zion will actually eat Trae Young for lunch, and it's going to be problematic. No, I mean, honestly, it makes sense to me. It makes sense. There's a huge pop on both cards. They are both hobby darlings. Trae Young is obviously a year older, has a full year under his bench of doing some great things. Zion is more built on promise, and potential, although he, had a couple of good games here and there, a couple of flashes. I will tell you that if you gave me right now $675 and said put it on one of them for this season, I would put it on Zion. I think Zion has much more potential to appreciate.
Wow.
I do.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I wouldn't expect that answer.
I like Trae Young, and don't get me wrong, I think they're both going to do well. I think that that Zion.
But to me, the track record, and we could throw Tatum into that. Put the pop aside, just the track record of those three are so just categorically different. One had 4 good games and has a ton of promise and potential.
Yep.
You're smiling, but he really had 4 good games. I watched Zion a lot last year. I was pumped when he went off against the Spurs and made 4 threes.
You can put Tatum in the equation. I still would Zion, and here's why, right? Because Zion's the potential home run, right? So Zion is so young and so untested that if he goes out there and has a year where he's, got some knee issues or he does not score what everyone thinks he's going to score, I think the downside on Zion's card is 400. 425, 450 from the 675, maybe 5 even, right? Where we've seen it, right? Because people will give him another year. People will say, all right, you know what, he was unhealthy, or people will say, you know what, he didn't have a great team around him, or they'll give him a pass, right? Tatum's not getting that pass this year. Tatum's got a track record, and Tatum's ceiling is possibly where he already is. Whereas Zion's ceiling, people will say after a year if he doesn't perform. Now we're going to get to it in a second, the other option. That's worst case scenario for Zion. I think the floor, and even Trae. What if Trae goes out there and he's a tremendous defensive liability? The Hawks don't take the leap forward that everybody thinks they're going to be taking. He's still shooting from half court, and he's throwing the ball over the backboard or doing whatever he does, because he's crazy. What if he takes a slight step forward? I'm not even talking about a step back. He takes a slight step forward and he has decent numbers, but he doesn't go crazy like people are expecting him to go. Now, I think the floor for Tatum's cards and Trae's cards, if they don't perform well, is significantly lower than Zion. I think Zion has another year of potential pass. And the flip side to that, the potential ceiling. If Trae has the year everybody thinks he's going to have, you've already seen a 50% jump on his cards. You've already seen his base cards go from 300 to 675. Tatum, too, you've seen those cards go up. Now they're starting to inch back up. They've kind of come down a little bit from where they were. But those guys, Tatum's card maybe goes up to where it was last year, right? And Trae's card, it's almost like a max already. It's almost built in. Zion goes out there and does for a season what people think he's capable of, and that card's running laps around the other two. I might want to have one Zion over both of those guys.
Wow. And do you think that the expectation or that that season that you're describing is like a LeBron-esque season where Zion puts the team on his back and single-handedly gets them to a third, 3,
So
4,
I don't
or
even
5
think
seed.
I don't even think he needs to be like a playoff guy, champion,
How?
whatever. I think he needs to take his team to the playoffs. He needs to improve from the not making the playoffs, but he has to probably be, 5 seed or better. So yes, you're right on that. But he needs to be the guy. It can't be that he's in there for 20 minutes a game. It can't be that they're leaning on Brandon Ingram. It has to be that
And you
feeding
see
him.
that in him? You see that potential in him?
I own one Zion card.
Do you think the market sees that potential in him?
Yes, I'm not banking on it. I'm just telling you that is a reasonable thing. I've watched film on him. I don't see it happening because I don't think he's going to stay healthy. But if you're asking me which one of those I'm going to invest in, if I have 607, not thousands of dollars, I'll spread the money around because that's the smartest way to do it. But if you just said, Matt, I'm giving $675 right now, you buy one Trey base and one Zion base. I'm buying a Zion base because I think it has the more potential for me during the season to go to $1,000 than the Trey does. I think the Trey's already run up like crazy, and Zion was already at $1,000.
If someone's out there listening and you guys are holding Zions and you have the expectation that he's a LeBron-esque player, please take it from me, someone who's watched a ton of his games, that they could not be farther from each other. Not in terms of who's going to have a better career or not. I'm talking about just game style. They're not the same. LeBron is a huge athletic point guard who's fast and a physical phenom. Zion could jump high and is very strong. They are not in the same athletic category, even close. And Zion can't shoot. I am questioning his right hand, and his playmaking abilities are questionable. So if you're there thinking he
pause
could
for a
be
second.
the next LeBron.
I want you to take that quote. He's athletic. He plays above the rim. He dunks. He's not the best shooter in the world, blah, blah, blah. I guarantee you, and I can't do it now because I don't want to waste our audience time, but if you gave me 3 minutes and a little thing called Google, I could find a shit ton of people saying the same thing about LeBron 2 years into his game. And you're comparing LeBron now to Zion.
No, I'm not.
Now,
let me clarify.
Zion may work, right? Remember,
let me clarify
what made
that.
LeBron
So
great was he worked. Go ahead.
A lot of people said that about LeBron, but that wasn't the reality of it. So anyone could write anything on the computer, but if you watch video, they're just drastically different players.
Yeah, LeBron when he came out as a kid, he was athletic freak. He wasn't taking jump shots. He wasn't shooting. It was a different game, obviously, but he was a dunker. He was playing above the rim his first couple of years also. I mean, he was much more athletic than Zion.
No, he wasn't. He was a point guard first his entire career. He was an unbelievable passer.
Yeah.
You laugh, but that's the best thing about him. He's a massive he's a massive point guard. He's a Magic Johnson-esque, and he happens to play above the rim. Right. Zion can only play above the rim.
They're not going to ask Zion to play guard because they have one of the best guards in the league in Lonzo Ball. I mean, he's just fantastic. I mean, they're not going to take that responsibility away from Lonzo. But no, I understand what you're saying. But here's the flip side.
I want to save some people money right now. If I had my Zion right now, I would be selling them. I would sell every single one of my. I didn't say that. I would say I would sell my Zion.
But that was the question.
But yeah, I would trade him for Trey any day. It was not even close.
No.
To me, it's insanity. Insanity. If I had to trade Zion for Trey, I would take the trade any day of the week.
Why do you think Zion's cards and Trey cards are the same price right now, and Zion's are down to that, and Trey's are up?
No, Zion's are up from 500.
Yeah, but down from 1,000.
They were at 1,000 based on all hype. I've watched the Zion market forever, and if you're holding that, you're going to be stuck holding the bag.
I think that's Trey's
$200 card.
Has Trey's base ever been higher? No.
What does that have to do with Zion's performance on the court or potential performance on the court?
It doesn't. And I'm going to ask you a follow-up question. What do cards really have to do with that?
That's fair. Confidence and speculation. That's a fair point.
Confidence and speculation. You're 100% right, man. 100% right. And
Cage put on his suit. He's in his office. He's like in the boardroom. We're settling. We're settling the case before it gets to court.
You make good points, and I have to tell you guys because I try to speak from my own portfolio, right? I'm not defending Zion here because I think he's going to be the next world beater. I absolutely don't think that. I think Zion's built like me. I watch footage of him, and I think he's going to make a lot of money. He's eat a lot of whatever he wants.
You've said it.
Yeah, beignets, exactly. So I'm not a good basketball player because I'm not built like a basketball. He doesn't look like he's built like a basketball, but he looks like a freak, man. And I don't know, maybe like we said, he's tofu. The thing about Zion is I don't want to understate the potential he has to be flashy and that talked about guy. Everybody wants that guy. Everybody wants to talk about that high flying dunker who does these athletic things. And, he's Sports Center top 10 highlights and 4 of them are him. He totally can do that. And that's today's basketball game. Nobody, you say it yourself, nobody's watching a whole basketball game. They're watching clips on Instagram and they're watching, sliced up this and that. He's built for that. He's built for today's
so let's
consumption.
say this. And I'm learning here, guys, because to me this doesn't make a lot of logical sense. But I'm not the market. You guys are. So Zion goes out. He has 20 points a game, 8 rebounds, but he has 5 or 6 electrifying moments every single game.
Yep.
They're the 8th seed. They're battling for that 8th seed. He's having a good season, 28 and 3. But he pins the ball against the backboard. He has 3 dunks a game. You think that card is a $1,200 card where the Trey, if he has another 30-point, 10-assist season, that's a $700 card? You see that's how in your experience for the market?
No, I think they both go up if they both do that. I think they both might be around $1,000 or $800 or something like that. Yeah, 100%. But I think if Zion, so you just put what I think the top of Trey is going to be, but you gave the middle of Zion. And I'm saying there's also potential Zion goes out there, scores 25 points, and his team's a 4 seed, and they get a home playoff game or whatever it may be, and he's doing a little better, and that card is $1,000 card while the Trey is $800. I just think there's more potential upside because of the way the market is now. Everybody's waiting for Zion, and you know what there is with Zion? There's a lot more FOMO lunatics out there who will jump on his card when he has his first couple of good games because they don't want to miss out on being on the Zion train when everybody else was on it. So you can't forget that.
Right.
Here's the deal. You know what? You're the smart guy, and Jordan, our producer, is probably listening to this. Maybe at some point tonight we could post something for our audience to weigh in on. Maybe we can put up, if you have $675, which one are you buying? Do it almost poll style, and we'll ask you guys who are listening to this. Maybe we'll leave it up there to be on our page. Tell us what you'd pick and why. Put some comments in. Don't just say Trey. Put some comments in and say why. Put some comments in and say Andrew's 100% right. Trey is the baller. Put some in there and say, Cage is right. Zion's going to dunk for as long as he can until the wheels fall off, and that's what I want to see. I mean, let us.
Here's why it's important too, because this scenario will actually present itself over and over and over and over again. It's a pattern. Tatum, proven superstar who might have peaked. Trey, high-scoring stat guy on a team that people are just hoping does something. Zion, high flyer prospect, hasn't done anything. That's going to play itself out. That might be LaBello, Obi Toppin, and Tyler Hero, but those patterns continue to emerge. And I just think that's what this conversation is really trying to hash out.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I'm not a Zion lover, but guys, let us know what you think, because that's really what's important. Talk to you soon, everybody. Thank you for spending some time with us on another episode of the Lucas, Tigers, and Bronze Oh My podcast. Do us a favor and like, subscribe. You know what? Don't just like and subscribe. Everybody does that. If you like us, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your enemies, tell everybody. And we hope you got something from spending some time with us today, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.